Love doesn't always announce its arrival. Sometimes it enters quietly, through a glance that lingers too long, a laugh that feels warmer than usual, or a silence that says more than words ever could. There's a unique kind of beauty in unspoken love, the kind that grows between two people who feel deeply but haven't yet found the courage to confess it. It's in the still moments, the shared looks, the soft smiles, the magnetic pull that neither can fully explain. When a man is falling for you silently, his heart speaks in ways his lips don't. And if you pay close attention, you'll begin to see it, hidden in his gestures, his tone, his presence. Psychologists often say that love reveals itself in patterns of behavior long before it's spoken aloud. The body, the eyes, even the smallest habits start to change when feelings become real. A man who's secretly falling for you might not be bold with words, but he'll express his emotions through consistency, attention, and energy. He may protect you without realizing it, remember your words without effort, and show up without being asked. These small, seemingly ordinary actions are the language of silent love, the kind that builds slowly, sincerely, and deeply. What makes this type of love so captivating is its quiet honesty. There's no performance, no forced gestures, no need for dramatic declarations. Instead, it's marked by presence, by the way he listens, by how he reacts when you're near, by the way his energy shifts when your name comes up in conversation. Even his nervous laughter or awkward pauses are clues. They reveal that he's not indifferent. He's simply overwhelmed by emotion. He's not ready to name. You might notice his eyes finding you in a crowd, his voice softening when he speaks to you, or how he suddenly acts distant, only to return more tender than before. These contradictions aren't confusion. They're evidence of someone experiencing something powerful yet fragile. His heart is trying to express what his mind is still processing. Love, in its early stages, often looks like hesitation wrapped in hope. And while words can be deceiving, energy rarely lies. You can feel when someone's heart is drawn to yours. The air shifts, the world seems quieter, and your instincts start whispering the truth. That's why understanding the psychology behind his unspoken signals matters. It helps you see the truth beneath the surface, the affection behind his silence, the care behind his distance, the love behind his restraint. In this video, we'll explore 10 deep signs he's falling for you silently, the subtle, powerful cues that reveal what his heart hasn't yet found the courage to say. These aren't random gestures. They're emotional fingerprints left by love in its purest form. So listen closely, watch carefully, because sometimes love doesn't shout, it simply waits, hoping you'll notice the quiet truth written between the moments you share. Sign 1. His eyes hold more than words. Ever could. Sometimes. Love doesn't begin with words, it begins with a look. The eyes are the most revealing window to what the heart tries to hide. When a man is falling for you silently, his eyes often give away emotions his mouth refuses to confess. You may catch him looking at you when he thinks you're not paying attention. And in that fleeting moment, there's warmth, softness, and a quiet ache. The kind that only love creates. Psychologists call the eyes the mirrors of emotion. They don't just see, they feel. When a man truly feels connected to you, his gaze lingers. It's not about staring, it's about presence. His attention sharpens when you walk into the room, and his pupils subtly dilate when you speak. These aren't random biological responses. They're the body's involuntary way of expressing interest and affection. The eyes respond to emotional excitement faster than any word ever could. You'll also notice that his eyes often seek yours in a crowd. It's instinctive. Like his mind needs reassurance that you're still there. He may quickly look away once you notice him, pretending to be casual. But the truth is that those seconds of connection mean more than either of you admits. Each glance is a silent confession, each avoidance an act of self-protection. He's afraid that if he looks too long, you'll see what he's trying to conceal, that you've already become important. What makes this so powerful is that it's subconscious. He doesn't plan these looks. His emotions take over before logic can stop them. Even during conversations, his gaze will shift between your eyes and your lips, a classic sign of growing affection and attraction. It's as though his heart is quietly learning your face, memorizing the details that make you, you. So, the next time you catch that look, the one that feels like time has slowed, don't dismiss it as coincidence. That's emotion breaking through restraint. His eyes are saying everything his voice can't. In that moment, you're not just being seen, you're being felt. Because when a man's eyes hold more than words ever could, it's not just attraction, it's the beginning of love, finding its courage in silence. Sign 2. His body reacts differently. Around you, when a man is quietly falling for you, his body starts to reveal what his words try to conceal. Attraction and emotion don't live in speech, they live in the nervous system. Even when he tries to act composed, his body often gives him away. You'll notice it in small, fleeting details. The way he straightens up when you walk into the room, how his tone softens when he speaks to you, or the nervous laughter that escapes when he's trying to hide how much he cares. Psychologists call this physiological arousal, the body's automatic response to emotional excitement. When we're around someone we're deeply drawn to, our brain releases dopamine and adrenaline, triggering visible physical reactions. His pupils may dilate, his breathing may quicken slightly, or his movements become less coordinated. He might play with his hands, adjust his sleeves, or touch his face more often. These aren't random gestures. They're his body's way of releasing the tension that builds when his emotions run high. Notice how he positions himself. Even in a group, his body naturally leans in your direction, signaling comfort and interest. He mirrors your posture without realizing it, a subconscious act called limbic synchronization, which happens when two people emotionally connect. If you cross your arms, he might do the same. If you laugh, he smiles. This physical mirroring is one of the strongest indicators of rapport and emotional alignment. He might also find subtle ways to reduce physical distance, standing closer than necessary, brushing past you, or finding excuses to be near. Yet paradoxically, when feelings grow stronger, he may also become awkward or fidgety. That's his nervous system battling between desire and restraint. His heart wants closeness, but his mind urges caution. And sometimes, his silence says even more. When he listens, his posture softens, his shoulders relax, and his attention sharpens entirely toward you. That's his body showing respect, interest, and emotional vulnerability, all at once. So, if you've ever noticed his hands tremble slightly when he hands you something, or his voice lower just a little when he says your name, don't dismiss it as nothing. The body doesn't lie. It speaks the truth long before the heart dares to admit it. Because when a man's body reacts differently around you, it's not coincidence. It's chemistry turned into emotion, and emotion turned into silent confession. Sign 3. He remembers small details. You forget when a man is falling for you silently. His memory becomes selective, but in the most beautiful way. He may forget his own appointments, but somehow he remembers the smallest things about you. The way you take your coffee, the song you once mentioned in passing, the story about your childhood pet that made you smile. Those details, insignificant to others, become etched in his mind like a secret collection of moments that matter only to him. Psychologists call this emotional salience, when the brain prioritizes information linked to strong feelings. Simply put, we remember what moves us. So when he recalls things you said weeks ago, or notices changes you didn't mention, like a new hairstyle, your mood, or the tone in your voice, it's not coincidence. It's emotional focus. You've become someone his mind doesn't want to forget. He listens differently too, not with the intent to reply, but to remember. While others might nod politely, he absorbs your words as if they're pieces of a puzzle he's learning to understand. This quiet attentiveness is one of the most profound signs of affection, because attention is the purest form of love. It's how the heart says, "You matter to me," without speaking at all. You'll notice it in everyday interactions. Maybe you mention your favorite snack once, and the next time he sees you, he brings it without saying a word. Maybe you talked about a stressful week, and he checks in just when you need someone the most. These gestures aren't random. They're evidence of emotional investment. His mind is tracking your world because he wants to be part of it. And the beauty of it is that he doesn't do it to impress you. He does it naturally because caring about you has become instinctive. Remembering you has become effortless. It's as if his subconscious keeps replaying little fragments of you. Your laugh, your preferences, your words, because they make him feel connected, even in silence. So the next time he brings up something you barely remember saying, pause and notice. That's not just a good memory, it's a quiet form of affection. Because when a man truly cares, he doesn't just hear you, he keeps you in his thoughts, in his heart, and in every small detail he never lets fade away. Sign 4. His energy changes. When your near energy doesn't lie. Before words are spoken or actions are taken, Energy tells the truth. When a man is quietly falling for you, the atmosphere around him shifts the moment you enter the room. It's subtle, so subtle that most people won't notice. But you will. The air feels different. His presence feels charged, and suddenly everything seems to come alive. That's not coincidence. It's emotional chemistry finding its way to the surface. Psychologists call this emotional resonance, the invisible exchange of energy that happens when two people feel a deep connection. Our bodies communicate through microsignals, changes in tone, breathing rhythm, and body temperature. So when he senses you nearby, his energy adapts instantly. He might stand a little taller, become more animated, or suddenly grow quiet as his mind scrambles to stay composed. Either way, you feel it, the shift in the emotional atmosphere that says, "You matter here." Sometimes, his entire mood brightens when you appear. The tension in his shoulders melts, his laughter sounds more genuine, and his focus sharpens. That's because your presence triggers a dopamine response, the brain's natural reward system. Simply put, you make him feel good without him understanding why. On the flip side, when you leave, you might notice the energy drop. The light fades slightly, as if something important just left the space. You'll also sense this change in smaller, quieter ways. Maybe the conversation flows more naturally when you're near. Maybe he becomes more expressive, his gestures wider, his eyes more alive. Or maybe he becomes shy, reserved, as if your nearness overwhelms him. Both reactions reveal the same truth. His emotions are real, and his body is reacting to the emotional charge between you. Energy speaks a language the mind can't censor. It vibrates in the pauses, in the laughter, in the silence that lingers too long. You can feel when his attention locks onto you, even without eye contact. That pull, that invisible current between you, it's connection in its purest form. So the next time you notice the room feels different when you're together, trust that feeling. His energy is telling the story his lips can't. Because when love begins to grow, it doesn't start with words. It starts with presence, and presence never lies. Sign 5. He gets nervous. When you're close, when a man is secretly falling for you, his confidence can start to tremble the moment you're near. He may seem composed around everyone else, but when it comes to you, something shifts. His hands might fidget, his words stumble, or he suddenly forgets what he was about to say. It's not because he's unsure of himself. It's because you affect him. Your presence triggers emotions that his mind can't quite control. Psychologists call this physiological arousal, a natural response when attraction and emotion mix. When he's close to you, his heart rate rises, his palms may sweat slightly, and his voice might change tone. These reactions are the body's honest way of expressing excitement, vulnerability, and anticipation. It's not anxiety in the fearful sense. It's the body's chemistry saying, "This person matters." You might notice subtle signs. He adjusts his clothes, laughs a little too much, or avoids eye contact only to look back moments later. He may speak faster than usual or pause mid-sentence, trying to find the right words. Sometimes, he might even tease you playfully, just to release the tension building inside him. These are small, unconscious attempts to calm the rush of adrenaline that comes from being near someone he deeply cares about. Interestingly, nervousness can also appear as withdrawal. Some men retreat into quietness or distance themselves when feelings become overwhelming. It's not rejection, it's protection. His emotions are louder than he's ready to handle, so he hides behind calmness or humor. But if you pay close attention, the signs are always there. The way his body turns toward you even when he's silent. The way he inhales deeply before speaking. The way his laughter sounds softer when it's you he's talking to. That nervous energy is actually a sign of authenticity. It means he's not trying to perform or impress. He's genuinely affected by your presence. And beneath that awkwardness lies sincerity, a man whose heart is speaking faster than his mouth can keep up. So, the next time he stumbles over his words, drops his phone, or laughs for no reason when you're around, smile gently. His nerves aren't weakness, they're truth made visible. Because when a man gets nervous in your presence, it's not confusion, it's chemistry. And chemistry, at its core, is love, trying to find the courage to reveal itself. Sign 6. He finds excuses to be around you. When a man is falling for you but hasn't yet found the courage to say it, he'll start showing it in the simplest yet most telling way, by finding reasons to be near you. It's rarely obvious or dramatic. It might look like coincidence, but it isn't. He just happens to show up where you are, lingers longer than necessary after a conversation, or volunteers to help with things you didn't even ask for. Each excuse is a small attempt to be in your presence, without having to confess what's really going on inside him. Psychologists refer to this as proximity-seeking behavior. When someone feels emotionally drawn to another person, their mind instinctively looks for opportunities to close the physical or emotional gap. It's the same subconscious pull that makes people feel more connected when they share space or spend time together. So, when he suddenly takes interest in activities you enjoy or casually appears in places you frequent, it's not chance. It's his heart trying to stay close. Pay attention to the subtle ways he does this. Maybe he offers to help you with a task, joins a group chat just because you're in it, or always happens to take his break when you do. He might not say much, but his actions speak volumes. He's trying to create shared moments, small pockets of time where your paths cross naturally. To him, those moments are gold. They give him a chance to feel connected without crossing the line of confession. Sometimes he disguises it as friendship or routine. He'll tell himself he's just being friendly, that it's nothing serious, but his consistency betrays him. You'll notice how often he looks for your attention, even in small, almost unnoticeable ways. And when life keeps you apart, he finds a way to check in, sending a message, asking how your day was, or making a light-hearted joke just to start a conversation. The truth is, being around you brings him peace and excitement all at once. It's where he feels both nervous and alive. That's why he keeps finding reasons to stay close, even if he never admits it. Because when a man's heart begins to care deeply, distance feels wrong, and closeness feels like home. Sign 7. His voice softens. When he talks to you, when a man truly cares for you, when his heart quietly begins to fall, his voice changes. You may not notice it at first, but it's there. Every time he speaks your name, every time your conversations drift into softer, more personal places, the tone of his voice shifts, not by choice, but by instinct. It becomes warmer, calmer, and more tender, as if his words are wrapping themselves around you with care. Psychologists call this paralinguistic communication, the emotional layer of speech that goes beyond words. When a man feels affection or admiration, his vocal tone naturally lowers and slows down. His subconscious is trying to communicate trust, empathy, and comfort. The softening of his voice isn't about seduction. It's about emotional safety. He doesn't want to overwhelm you. He wants to connect with you. You'll hear it in the way he listens and responds. Around others, his tone might be energetic or assertive, but with you, it's different. There's gentleness. He laughs more softly, pauses before answering, and sometimes his sentences fade into whispers when the topic turns intimate. He's not performing, he's present. His body and emotions are aligning to create an atmosphere of closeness. Even in group settings, his voice betrays him. The moment he addresses you, you'll sense the difference, like he's tuning his energy specifically for you. His laughter when you joke has a different warmth. When he calls your name, there's a sincerity that sets it apart from anyone else's. That's because, on a subconscious level, he associates you with comfort and emotional depth. There's another layer too. The softer tone often appears when a man feels vulnerable. He might be sharing something personal or simply enjoying your company in silence. His voice drops, not out of control, but out of honesty. It's the sound of someone letting their guard down, of emotion seeping through restraint. So when his voice turns gentle, don't dismiss it as coincidence. It's his heart speaking through his tone, testing the space between you. That softness carries more truth than 1,000 bold words. Because when a man's voice softens around you, it means he feels safe, seen, and drawn to you in ways he can't yet explain. Sign 8. He protects you without making it obvious. When a man truly cares for you, his instinct to protect you awakens naturally, not with grand gestures or loud declarations, but through quiet, consistent actions that often go unnoticed. Protection, in this sense, isn't about dominance or control. It's about care expressed through awareness, attention, and subtle acts of concern. He doesn't say, "I'll protect you." Instead, he simply does. Psychologists call this protective affection, a subconscious behavior rooted in emotional attachment. When a man feels connected to someone, his brain's protective systems, the same ones triggered by empathy and love, become active. It's not just physical protection, it's emotional, mental, and even environmental. He starts noticing things others miss. How comfortable you seem, whether you're stressed or if someone's words upset you. His natural response is to create safety for you, even if it means staying silent about it. You might see it in the way he walks on the side of the street closest to traffic, or how he checks that you got home safely. Maybe he subtly steps closer in a crowded place, not to claim you, but to shield you. Or he notices when someone speaks harshly to you and quietly changes the subject to diffuse the tension. These are not random moments. They're instinctive signals of care. His protection also appears in emotional ways. He listens when you need to vent, not to solve your problems, but to offer peace. He avoids saying things that might hurt you, even in disagreement. When you're tired, he lightens the load. When you're anxious, he becomes calmer, as if his energy adjusts to balance yours. This emotional attunement is one of the clearest signs that love has taken root, and yet he rarely takes credit for it. He doesn't announce his efforts or expect gratitude. To him, it's natural. Protecting you doesn't feel like an obligation. It feels like instinct. It's his quiet way of saying, you matter. I want you safe. I want you at peace. So, the next time he casually walks you to your car, checks the weather before you leave, or texts, let me know when you get home. Know this, he's not just being kind. He's showing love in its purest, most selfless form. Because real protection isn't loud, it's love wearing silence as armor. Sign 9. He acts distant, then comes back stronger. 1. Of the most confusing, yet revealing behaviors of a man who's falling for you is when he suddenly pulls away, only to return with even more warmth, care, and attention. This emotional back and forth isn't a sign of indifference. It's a sign of conflict. Deep down, he's feeling something powerful, and it both excites and scares him. So he retreats, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much and doesn't yet know how to handle it. Psychologists refer to this as the approach-avoidance conflict. It happens when someone desires emotional closeness, but simultaneously fears vulnerability. When he starts developing strong feelings, his heart moves forward, but his mind slams on the brakes. He begins to worry about rejection, losing control, or getting hurt. The result? Distance. But that distance is temporary, because love has a way of pulling him right back. You'll notice patterns. He may text you often, share deep thoughts, or seem incredibly engaged, then suddenly become quiet or withdrawn. You might feel confused, wondering what changed, but after a while, he returns, sometimes with more tenderness than before. That's because during that space apart, he realized something. Life feels emptier without your presence. The distance only amplifies the bond he's trying to deny. When he comes back, he may not explain where he went emotionally, but his actions will show it. His messages might be more genuine, his tone softer, his eyes more open. He might initiate deeper conversations, ask more personal questions, or make a greater effort to connect. Each return is stronger than the last, because every time he leaves, he understands a little more about what he truly feels. This push and pull dance isn't manipulation, it's emotional self-defense. He's trying to balance his longing for connection with his fear of being exposed. The best thing you can do is stay grounded. Let him take the space he needs without chasing or punishing. Love that's real doesn't need pressure, it needs patience. So when he withdraws, don't assume the story's over. When he returns, don't question why. Just recognize that he's fighting a quiet battle between fear and love is starting to win. Because when a man acts distant, then comes back stronger, it's not confusion. It's his heart learning how to be brave. Sign 10. His silence feels full of emotion. Sometimes love doesn't speak. It lingers in the pauses. When a man is falling for you silently, his quiet moments hold more meaning than 1,000 words ever could. It's in the way he looks at you but doesn't speak, the way he listens without interruption, or how he simply sits beside you without needing to fill the space. His silence isn't emptiness. It's emotion finding a way to breathe without sound. Psychologists call this emotional attunement, a deep, subconscious connection where two people begin to sense each other's inner worlds without needing words. When a man feels this with you, he doesn't rush to talk, he wants to feel. He studies your expressions, your tone, your energy. His silence becomes a kind of listening, one that goes beyond hearing your words to understanding your heart. You might notice that when you're together, even the quiet feels different. It's not awkward. It's peaceful, charged with unspoken understanding. The air seems to thicken with feeling. He may glance at you and quickly look away, smile softly without reason, or just sit there as if time has slowed down. Those moments are his heart's language, raw, honest, and free of pretense. His silence may also come when emotions become too strong to manage. He wants to say something, maybe how much you mean to him, but the words get caught somewhere between fear and longing, so instead he stays quiet, hoping you can somehow feel what he can't say. That's not emotional withdrawal. That's emotional overload. In those moments, pay attention to the energy, not the words. How his body relaxes around you. How his eyes soften when you smile. How he breathes a little slower in your presence. All these are unspoken confessions, his way of saying, I'm here, I feel it too. Silence has always been love's most honest companion. When words fall short, emotions rise to the surface in subtler ways, through looks, gestures, and presence. So when his silence feels heavy yet comforting, when you can sense his feelings without a sound, know this. That's love in its purest, most vulnerable form. Because when a man's silence feels full of emotion, it means his heart has already spoken. It's just waiting for the right moment for his voice to catch up.